Yes, family. Another chapter in the spiritual understanding of the Bible. Yes, the last one I talked about was the making of man and what happened in the process. Well, today I just want to conclude that. But every aspect of my video, I would love to reiterate who God is, the characteristics of God. And please remember that, the characteristics of God. God is the Spirit, because of course the Bible said God is a spirit. So God is a spirit that never changes, that never alters his position, that never changes his plan. We also see the characteristics, and not just the characteristics. We see also the physical features of the devil. And we also know the intention of the devil based upon what he has done so far. We realize what he is about. And we also know what God himself is. We know that God represent love, represent everything is good that is good. We know that God epitomizes holiness. We know that God is unable to sin. We also know that God cannot deal with sin. So wherever there is sin, God's presence will never ever be there. And so I say that to say this, that when man was deceived, Adam and Eve was deceived by Lucifer, when he deceived them, what he did, the Bible said, he turned himself into a serpent and he mocked them. Okay. Now, people must understand the way how God operates, because sometimes we see the Bible goes flip-flopping on the characteristics of God. But the same Bible also tells us the characteristics of God. So it could not be good, bad, and indifferent. That is not God. And I say that to say this, that when Adam and Eve fell from grace with God, because they disobeyed God and they fell from grace, the same Bible come back to tell us that God came back and curse and also to condemn and place the curse upon man. God placed the curse upon man. That's what the Bible said. But if you look at the characteristics of God and how God appeared to Adam and Eve, he did not appear to Adam and Eve like how the devil did. as an individual, God himself appeared to Adam and Eve within the body of Adam and Eve. Right? That's how God operates. So they became filled with God, and they realized that they were of God. And that is how God operates. This is clearly the description, although the Bible didn't say it, but this is what you would have to take from it. Because remember this, God made man to dwell in the body of man. When I say the body, I mean the body and the soul. Because later on, I'm going to tell you clearly how the soul of man came about. And the interaction between the soul of man and the Spirit of God. Because your soul is basically your spirit. That's it. Anyway, so when they sinned and the devil deceived them, the Bible came back and said that God came back and cursed them. No, God could not do that. God could not come back and curse Adam and Eve, because Adam and Eve became sinful now, and as such, God's presence could not be with them anymore. God's Spirit could not dwell within them anymore. And so their whole being was void of holiness. And so that was when God departed from them, when they became sinful. But the spirit that went to put that curse on them now, automatically, after realizing that, yeah, I got you away from God, therefore I am now your God. And this is clearly what Lucifer was thinking. And so he went back to them and he said, speaking to them now as if he is the God, if he is God the Almighty, and place the curse up on Adam and Eve, and then became their God. So Lucifer assumed the power of God. But nobody can assume the power of God, because number one, and you must recognize this, that the devil can do you anything, right? Because the only thing the devil can do is blow the breath. And also, the devil cannot claim your soul. You would have to give it to him. And those are the protection that God put in place, because he, God, knew the ambition of the devil and knew that the devil would try to disrupt his plan. God is not a fighter. God is not a fighter. God is a loving God. God chooses not to fight with not even the devil. And so, as we go along, you will recognize now that the devil has man, or the devil took man 99.9%, because the only thing that he could not get from man was man's soul. Man would have to give it to him, because that was coming from God, and him couldn't touch that. But understand this, that whatever God gave you, he gave you freely, and he gave it to you to be yours. And God is not going to come and say to you, oh, you can't give away your soul because I gave it to you. God give you your free will, and he leave that up to you. And he make it that only you can do that, no matter what anybody wants to do to you. Right? No matter how much devil work anybody working on you, the devil cannot take your soul. Your soul belongs to God. And even if you become the most corrupted person, you and only you can give the devil your soul. The devil cannot take it. And so, what that means now is, man was given certain authority by God to have dominion over earth. Man was given the authority by God to rule earth. God has not taken that back. Nothing up until now that God has given to man, God has taken back from man. Nothing up to now that God has given to the devil, God has taken back from the devil. No. He is a God that has never changed from day one. God has never changed. He is still the same God, operating the same way. And so what happened? Satan took over earth. Satan became the God of earth and became the God, the false God for man. And you talk about inspiration and inspired men. Who were they inspired by? And this is when the whole thing going to get eat up now, because we are going to find out that this thing called inspiration never came from God the Almighty, because God the Almighty plan was disrupted by the devil, and the devil seeped in his plan, and so was operating as God. Not God himself, but he was operating as a God that cannot blow the breath of life, but he can do everything else. And so I leave you with that.